Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mike the Mechanic. Just starting this channel. Been holding back, waiting for a while. I don't know why. I finally decided, what am I waiting on, you know? This is the first time I've made a YouTube channel. This is going to be my first attempt at this. But I'll do the best I can. Try to make it a useful channel. Try to make it something you all enjoy watching. Predominantly, it's going to be automotive. I mean, obviously, you'd get that from the title of the channel being Mike the Mechanic. But yeah, that's what I do. So that's what I want to share. That's my life. So I want to do a lot of how-tos on some of that more niche stuff that's out there. Some things that there's not a lot of information on the internet already out there for. There's definitely a lot of things that I would like to try and get some information out there, or at least try and get people interested in trying to get their version of it out there, so that everybody gets to tell their story, and we all have useful information to use from that. But anyway, there's gonna be some vlogs, there's gonna be some how-tos. It should be pretty interesting, but yeah, no, we'll see how it goes. Alrighty, without further ado, let's get to today's co-star. That's right, boys and girls, we have ourselves a 1995 Astro van. Woohoo! This thing was having a lot of issues with running. It sounds like somebody's actually spun a bearing inside and then continued to drive it further and further until the point where it just continued to eat itself up. At this point, the oil that I drained out, let's see if I can show you guys here. Well, as you can tell, that's just black as night. And let's see if we can see this with the camera here. Probably not going to be able to see it very well. But there is actually quite a bit of metal shavings inside of that. Well, I just used my pants here. That's a good rag. But yeah, so the oil pump wound up stopped up. Not pumping any oil. And we all know what happens when you don't lubricate your parts, Everything goes to hell. So, to begin this little project, I've gone ahead and taken a few steps to make myself some room. I went ahead and removed the cowl, or the shroud, the fan shroud that typically sits here. I've removed that, as well as the fan and clutch assembly itself. It's been unbolted and removed as well. God, the light is terrible right here. But you can see the throttle body there, and little intake manifold on top, tucked way back in there. That's what you gotta love about these vans. So typically when you're looking at these, nice cap, huh? Typically when you're looking at these, a car or a truck, your engine's gonna start somewhere around in here, somewhere in this area. With this one, it's starting way back here, so it's makes for a ridiculous amount of room to be able to access it. And inside, you've got this pretty little hump here, cover, that actually sits over the engine as it sticks up and protrudes through the inside. Now, a lot of people already know this, not very interesting, la-di-da. But what makes it so unique of a job is that since you're cramped in that way, you have to, okay, for example, let's take this intake manifold, and that's going to be the first step that I'm going to take from this point on. Like I said, I've already removed a few things up front, made myself some room, got a couple hoses and things out of the way. All in all, grand total, we've got AC ducting for the inside, the center console piece that actually sits over this cover, the fan shroud, as I mentioned before. I removed the alternator to make myself some room, the hose and plastic pieces of the intake manifold, or of the intake, so that I had myself the room, filler tube, as well as the upper radiator hose and the housing, the outer half of the housing for the thermostat. Removing all these things is what's made me the amount of room that I have to work with here as it is. Let's see, this is what I wanted to show you guys. this intake manifold here, if you want to remove it, you go through and you pull all the screws out as you go along, you know. There they are every so often. These are actually studs sticking up with a nut that goes over them. But anyway, you go ahead and unbolt those. Well, the problem is well, here's dash right in your face. I mean, right there. I mean, if you were to sight down it, you know, I mean, look at that. That's just ridiculous. You know, it's hanging out beyond the point of the engine itself as far as where it meets, you know, lines up to the floorboard. Anyway, if you were to remove this intake, you were to go through and take all the bolts out like you normally would. However, the amount of space that you have to work in here is so small, so cramped, that, I mean, literally, my hand tucks up behind the dash so it's hard to see, but that's it. That right there is pretty much all you've got, just this much space here, which looks like a lot on camera. It's kind of hard to capture this. My point is that because of the distance, the length rather, of the engine, you have some things that you're going to be accessing from the backside here, and some things you're just going to have to go out front for. In which case, let's come out here, you're going to run into accessories. I mean, they're all in the way. Now, and as far as the intake manifold is concerned, you're not going to have to really worry about too much except for the alternator, which was here, I already removed, and the AC pump that's sitting here. Now, the one issue on these Astro vans with the AC pump is that one of the lines, let's see if this will focus, comes off the back of the pump here, comes up, it's this line here, following it on around. That's all rubber line right there, you know, that's all good and fine. It's going to bend and flex and move and allow you to put the pump wherever you need to. However, the other line that comes off of it, it's kind of hard to see, it's in the background there. It kind of goes up, oh, focus, kind of goes up and takes off that way, you know, this is it right here. Okay, well, let's take a look at it from the inside, where you can actually get a better look. That is this line here. Well, this goes all the way over the engine. I move the little protective skirting back out and goes back into solid line here. So you only have from, let's see if I can get a better view of it. You only have from here to here. That little section right there is rubber, which means it'll give you the flexibility to move the pump over that way, however, only to a certain degree, only to a certain point. And your up and down flexibility is going to be very limited with the space given. The way this is bracketed in, again, the lighting is crap here. Let me see if I can get this to focus. The way this is bracketed in, thankfully, this one's just going to come right off the front. It unbolts here. This is the piece of the casing to the AC compressor itself. This is the bracket behind it. So this will separate out this direction, so that's good. Same thing with the top right here. That's going to separate out, come out this direction. That's good. And there's a third one tucked back in here. Let's see if I can get this down in here and look at it. Well, that's kind of hard to see. But there's a third one back in there. But either way, all three are going to come off, and the whole compressor is going to be able to come right out the front and bring it right over this way. The problem is it's probably going to stop right about here. It's probably about as far as I'll get her to go, given the amount of room and the, you know, the geometry of the situation. You know, where you're going to max out as far as angles of things are concerned. Anyway, but I'm going to go ahead and pop this here intake manifold off. And just wanted to kind of show you guys as I go along how this one's done. I wasn't able to find anything else on the internet about how to work on these very much. There's a few things out there. There are. But especially for how common of a van these are, I really expected to be able to find a lot more information on them. And the fact that I'm not able to, it's rather disappointing. So I thought, hey, you know, what a better time to start that channel I've been talking about. So here we go. Okay, now here we have the EGR valve. She's plugged in. We have the throttle position sensor up here plugged in. We've got a few different things. So what we need to do is go around and start unplugging stuff. Ooh. There it goes. There we go. Okay, now this whole little section here has been unhooked from everything. Oh, we've got one more plug. See it? See that? There it is. The inline plug. I hate these. I don't know if that's actually a proper term for them, but that's what I call them anyway. Everybody's kind of got their own names for stuff. There we go. Okay. Now that bundle can be pulled back out of the way, and now it's no longer a hassle for us to get all the way around here to the different things we got to be able to reach. Okay, we're going to attempt to do this while leaving this AC compressor in here. I think it's going to be a bit of a tight squeeze on this side. I don't know, what do you guys think? Yeah, I know. Okay, now we're going to show you this little booger there. See the bolt there? That bolt there, which does go through the intake, and it's matching a little partner back over here on this side. Boy, that's, there we go. You can kind of see it down here. That's it right there. It's hard to get. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now you can see it. One more plug on top. Okay, now this whole little bundle can lay off over here out of the way. Then we're going to take this coil pack. Since we removed that nut and that nut, slide this up and off. Set it off to the side out of the way. Okay, and then from the back side of the engine here, as you see here, we have ourselves a little vacuum line that needs to be removed. Placed off to the side somewhere you can find it again easily. Up front, you can see here another vacuum line. Leave that out in the open where it's easy to find. That's disconnected now. Okay. Oh, will focus. Alright, and finally, back in here, you see from the valve cover on this side, coming up, there's this line here for recirc. I'm gonna go ahead and pop that from that end. And just to make ourselves a bit more space around here, we're gonna go ahead and pop it out of this end too. Carefully, not to break this little plastic tubing crap that they use. And go ahead and remove that. Now, stack this back here. Other parts, engine parts. Keep them in the vehicle so that they're with it. And of course, what have we here but where we remove the coil pack? Underneath, there's an additional nut and nut. So now these two have to be done again. So here we go. Alrighty, boys and girls, check it out. We've got the upper half of the intake manifold off. Yes, I really needed to do that off camera. Nobody needed to see me do that. I kind of got a little pissed for a minute, but that's mechanics. That's how it is. If you ain't getting frustrated, you don't love it. Just wanted to take the time to show you guys this. There is one more bolt that hides right back in here. So as you go around the outside, you get this one, this one, this one, you know, all the way around, dink, 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 dink. But then there's this one hiding deep down in here. You guys see it? See a little ring made in the dust there from where the bolt head was? Yeah, that's it. So keep an eye out for that one. That's what made my job so frustrating. Alright, so next, to remove this part, the lower half of the intake manifold, first thing we're going to have to do, you see how the casting actually comes all the way out to here and clears the distributor itself. So we'll have to remove this bolt here, which keeps the keeper on, which keeps the distributor in place. Go ahead and pop the whole distributor up out of there, and then we'll move on to the next step. I wanted to show you this. Not all distributor keepers are made the same way. Thankfully, this one's slotted. So here comes the magic moment. See, I've already released the bolt. Whoop! It's out of the way. Look at that. Distributor clears. It'll come right up out of there. Okay, next step is to actually physically begin to remove the distributor. Okay, now that we have the distributor removed, we're going to go ahead and take off fuel line 1 and 2 here, which feeds this beautiful, and I do use that term loosely, spider injection system. Oh yeah, if anybody knows anything about these, you gotta fucking love them. Alright boys and girls, these are loose now, as you can see by me just getting sprayed in the face and getting lucky and not getting hit in the, not having the camera get hit. That would have sucked. Okay, so let's, alright, nice and easy. We'll go ahead and lean these back. There we have it. And the one we popped off up front comes all the way back here and winds up being this line right here. See it wiggling up there? Yeah, that's that one we took off up front. So we're going to go ahead and pop it back here as well, if we can. Sometimes it's a little easier said than done. Oh, okay, hang on. Okay, we got her loose now. Let's go ahead and pop it right off. There we go. Untangle it here. Try to get the front out. There we go. Alright. There we have another line, boys. And girls. I keep forgetting there are female mechanics. Okay, the next one's going to be this other one here. Give a little twist back and forth, loosened up. Off she comes. Love that. Okay. Now, next step after this is going to be to go ahead and... Oh, no, you know what? We got stuff to do up front. We have the transmission dipstick tube that's bolted on right here, as well as this this line right here that goes to the heater core, bolted on right here up front. So we'll go ahead and pop those off next. And for the sake of space, here's our water pump. Here goes this line here that shoots off over here, goes in with the other one, and these are the heater core lines. They go back up in there. But in the interest of space, considering this line comes up here, and it's one of the ones that I just removed, there's the bracket right here, and then there's the bolt that it was actually bolted to. I have it out now. But in the interest of space, we're going to go ahead and remove this hose clamp here and just pull the whole line off. Get it up out of the way so that way we've got the room to do what we need to do. And like I said last time, or a few minutes ago I should say, I went a little crazy when I was getting the upper half of the intake manifold off. This is what's left. Let's see if I can get this in a dark enough space to focus right. This is what's left of the screwdriver I was using to pry up on it. Snapped it right off at the tip. That's now too blunt to try and get fit into a small area, such as hose clamp. So we're going to go ahead and use this one. Most of this tip is left on this screwdriver. I've also put this one through hell. It's got no handle left on it. Typically this one's more of a chisel for me. But now that we're dealing with this here, I'm going to go ahead and use this one. So let's go ahead and get on here. See if I can get the camera where you can see what I'm doing here. There we go. Ooh. There she goes. Now, I know a lot of you other mechanics might already know this little trick, but I'm actually using channel locks that are way too huge for this. These are big, huge oil-filled channel locks here. But once you've gotten a hose clamp off of a hose, a lot of times to break it loose, it's a lot easier if you can get it to spin back and forth on there first, prior to trying to actually remove it. So now that we've actually kind of gotten that hose broken loose from its seat, let's see if it'll actually just pop right off of there. Okay, maybe not that easy, but you know, that's the magic of editing, or in this case, pause. Ha ha! We'll go ahead and work this off out of our way the best we can. Unfortunately, it's actually hooked around the back side of this here dipstick tube. So, I'm gonna need two hands to do this. Poof! It's on the other side. I'll just lay that over the edge out of the way here. Just make sure that that doesn't get in our way of what we're doing here. Bada bing, bada boom. Now that's out of the way. Okay, now again, in the interest of space, as you can see, we're crowded by a few things around us here. I'm gonna go ahead and pull both of these dipstick tubes apart from one another. They're actually, sorry for the camera guys, I'm having a little tough time getting in this spot. They're actually bolted together, the two tubes are. So if I remove this little bolt, they'll separate from one another. I'll be able to get this one out of my way and leave this one where it's at. It's in kind of a pain in the ass of a spot, but not as bad as an engine dipstick tube. Poof, the bolt's on the other side. Now I always thought this part was kind of cool. This is where the two halves of the dipstick tube actually separate from one another. So you can actually pull the upper half and the dipstick out of the lower half of the tube. And then you're left with a dipstick tube and dipstick. And see, this view looks like we just about got everything cleaned up. However, hiding back here is this little pain in the ass. So that line's got to come off right there. Hello, fly, get out of my view. That line's got to come off right there. I'm gonna go ahead and break this hose clamp loose and pull it out of there. We're just going to tuck this one back out of the way too. Keep it out of our way. Now, we actually have just about everything around here clear out of our way. Okay, we're going to go ahead and pull these, as well as these. You can't see the other one, it's back there. And we're also going to be removing these back here as well. And the whole thing should lift. Well, obviously, that one, oh, that one, and see if I can get it. There's one right there, you just really can't see it. Oh, there we go, you can kind of see it. But yeah, there are ones that are on the sides in here on the insides, and there's the ones on the outsides here and here, and then on the front. She's all popped off of there. Inside we have
push rod's exposed, lifter's exposed. If you get down in there, you can kind of see the cam down in there a little bit. A couple of these slots here. But yeah, that's her right there. There she is. Alrighty. Well, thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for the next one.